Where we left off, how are you doing, guys? Good night, good afternoon, I don't know, whenever you're watching this, good something. I hope you had a really nice Semana Santa. My name is Alonso Zevallos, and I'm going to be talking about theme. Okay, so theme. What is theme? As defined, it is the subject of talk, of a literary device, a person's thoughts, or an exhibition, a topic. So what does this mean? It means, in simpler words, that theme is going to be the main idea, subject, problem, issue, controversy, anything. Theme is whatever you're going to be talking about. It's a topic, pretty much. When you reference theme to literature, usually cannot be described in one word because how are you going to be this like? Let's see, you met this girl, you met this guy, you really like them and everything. You won't describe them in one word. You're gonna be like, oh, this guy's super special and everything, and you're gonna be like, oh, cozy. But no, you just don't. So then why would a book be different, you know? Doesn't make sense. Um, so yeah, theme is a topic of hand. And in literature, it has to do with the problems, the issues that the author is going to address, and his stand on it. So for this week's assignment, I had to research on my portion of reading theme. What theme was predominant throughout this portion of the text? And I'm going to go with two themes. So theme number one, the thing I started with the first week, and I think has lasted long, and I think it's going to be addressed throughout the entire book, is that the author believes that women are underestimated in society. Now, why do I say this? Well, let's put it this way. In the beginning, there is this mention towards how Lola is seen as a bitch or as a slut just because she can self sustain. And then how, during Trujillo times, if you don't know Dominican Republic history, quick side note, Trujillo was this horrible dictator who ordered the assassination of 20,000 Haitians, and also led to the torture and murder of thousands of Dominicans throughout his time. And it also led to like this great conflict, guerrilla warfare, and everything. And so, yeah, not a nice time to be alive. And the thing about that is that because of so much risk and everything, obtaining jobs was pretty hard for that, like for that time. Now imagine women. I'm talking about 1950s, 1960s, that time period. And so imagine society already looks at you down, like you have to be that person who has to stay at the kitchen, has to take care for the family, not too much with being the provider for the family. Now, there is here the exception, which Jonah Diaz provides, where the woman, in this case, Lola's mother, has to take, no, sorry, how the grandmother, La Inca, has to take care of the family and has to provide for them. And when Billy obtains a job as a waiter in this Chinese restaurant, La Inca looks at her really badly. She is like really offended because she wanted her to become a doctor, which for the time period and because of the grades and everything could have not been a possibility. But either way, I would have been happy for the job. I don't know why. It's just a mixed feeling I have over there, and it shows how it was like how Belly was underestimated because a job is a job. It is better to have a shitty job than not having a job at all. And if you have a job that you really, 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 really like, then go for it. But I mean, for this time period and everything, and how society is nowadays, I feel that any job pretty much is a good job. I mean, there's no like other way. Unfortunately, money predominates in society nowadays, and so not having money is not a fun time. And so I would have been happy in my position. I would have been happy for Belly for obtaining at least a job. But that's my take on that. That's quite of an example. But since I think that's like a theme that's going to be covered throughout the entire book, Not going to go into too much specifics. Nevertheless, the other theme, the author believes that love in society is no longer emotion based. Love is now materialistic and it depends on a give and gain type of relationship. And so I'm going to talk about how love is materialistic nowadays in society throughout this passage, where Junot Diaz describes Belly's English writing, I'm going to say. So it says, Belly's essay was far less controversial. I will be married to a handsome, wealthy man. I will also be a doctor with my own hospital that will be named after Trujillo. And so the last part just locates the reader in a time period, a time frame. But the first part, Belly's essays were far less controversial. So I generally like to think how literature is my way of expressing what I think about problems I have. And so if I'm going to be writing about the perfect woman or anything, I mean, there's not much point in writing. But there's something interesting about what Belly said, what Belly thinks about literature at least, or writing in that sense. She's gonna marry a wealthy man, wealthy. So she's no longer saying, "Well, I'm gonna marry this guy because he treats me well, he loves me, he respects me, he everything." No, all the typical relationship type of thing that you expect from a guy. But she rathers the wealthy part. She rathers thinking about how she's gonna marry someone that's gonna be handsome as hell, and he's gonna be wealthy as sorry, very wealthy. So understanding that just leads us to understand how Junot Diaz believes that love in modern day societies is driven by a gain, give or gain type of relationship. It's no longer emotions. It's no longer I fell in love with you, really love you, I want to be with you to the day I die type of thing. It's no longer fairy tale type of story. It's now you've got money, you kind of cute, let's go type of thing. But you're wrong. I mean, that's my personal take on it. But either way, regardless of what I think, that's an example I'm going to give you for today. Unfortunately, I don't have bookmarkers because I was low on budget. So I'm going to be using different devices for that matter. And that's interesting. I had this marked down for some reason. Mm. Oh, so this is a pretty interesting example of how society looks down at love. And so here it goes. This is on page 112, by the way. I'm going to read a larger portion just to locate you with the context a little better. And so in February, Liliane had to quit her job and return to the campo to care for her ailing mother, a señora who, Lilian claimed, had never given a damn for her well-being. But it is the fate of women everywhere to be miserable always. Liliana declared, and then she was gone, and only the cheap freebie calendar she liked marking off remained. A week later the brothers then hired a replacement, a new girl, Constantina, in her 20s, sunny and amiable, whose cuerpo was all pipa and no culo, a mujer alegre, in the parlance of the period. More than once Constantina arrived to lunch straight from a night of partying, smelling of whiskey and stale cigarettes. And so this example illustrates the first theme I was providing, how there is how women are underestimated in this sense for this matter. Um, Specifically when it says, but it is the fate of women everywhere to be miserable always. And so I kind of have to disagree. I mean, society today has given a lot of more rights to women. I still feel that there is unevenness. Like, come on, we know that this society is pretty uneven in many ways. But towards women, there is this like constant thing. There is this constant debate going on, And that only helps me to demonstrate to you how Junot Diaz believes and knows and defends his argument that women are underestimated here. You see, Lillian had to quit her job because her culture demands her to. Our culture demands her to quit her job so that she can attend her ailing mother. And so, how does culture influence literature? Which is going to be the broader idea we're going to be talking about. Precisely that. Culture, stereotypes, traditions, even language are going to really influence the way in which literature is going to be written. In this case, we're going to see how tradition, because traditionally, women have to do that. I mean, women have to stop whatever they're doing because they have to take care for the older person. From where I come from Mexico, el primogénito, the firstborn, is the one who has to take care of her parents when they get older. Now, does that really apply? No, really, it's the woman who has to do that. The woman, I don't know. So, yeah. Thankfully, I answered one of the questions in 11 minutes and 14 seconds. Now, let's go for the next one. The next passage I'm going to read aloud is on page 137 when it says, upon further reflection. In her memory, he never told her to get rid of it, but later, when she was freezing in basement apartments in the Bronx and working her fingers to the bone, she reflected that he had told her exactly that. But like lover girls everywhere, she had heard only what she wanted to hear. God damn it, woman! No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, if I scared you, I'm really sorry. I'm doing this last minute and I shouldn't be, but okay, so let's go back to the tasks. Determine a theme for this week. So we determined two or three, I'm pretty sure. One is how women are underestimated in society, and I showed it because Liliana, because of tradition, because of her culture, she has to um, renounce to her job, to her life, pretty much to take care of of the old people. Then I also showed this how um, how this girl, the one who was like going to attend Constantina, she was loved by everybody because she had nice boobs, like she looked nice, but didn't have ass. And so that just leads me to believe that in society women are underestimated because look at how Junot Diaz described her. Like all you wanted to know was either if she had a nice ass and everything or not. Like was she pretty or was she not? And so that's something that really bugs me and like really stood out to me when I read this passage. Then secondly, the second thing we were going to discuss about was um, the author believes, Junot Diaz believes, that love is no longer conventional. Love is now no longer emotion based. It is now more of a give gain type of system. And so I showed that with Belly because Belly writes her essays on saying, "Hey, I'm gonna marry this wealthy man when I grow up," showing how her like thoughts of beauty and like who she likes in general are pretty fucked up. I mean, yeah, of course you don't want to like marry someone and end up like dying for starvation because you want that person to care for you and like provide. But you're also I don't know, I'm not that type of guy who feels that money is everything, especially now in society. Fortunately, society basically tells you that. So yeah, those are two of the themes that I spoke about this week. Hopefully we were, hopefully I was really good at explaining them. Please give me any feedback you think. If you like the video, if the audio is good. Hopefully the audio is good because if not, I'm gonna get pissed. But like, by the way, I got a really nice background, got a really nice shirt, and yeah. Please tell me how I can improve. Until next time, adios. Yeah, I got a manual.